Welcome to From Beyond with your host, Glenn Boddice. Join me as we explore spirituality, self-help, and channeling spirit. Hello and welcome to From Beyond with your host, Glenn Boddice, spiritual medium. Thank you once again for tuning in for another week. You're in for an action-packed show this week. So before we start, I just want to check in with everybody that's listening. How are you? How are you feeling? Are you trusting the emotions that you're feeling? Are you allowing that to navigate your way through your present moment consciousness? Just some thoughts there to pass out so it percolates in your mind in order to help you progress through this year. Okay, so let's crack on. Today's show, we're going to be talking about visions, and we're going to be going in depth with that and exploring that with a little bit of playful curiosity. Also in today's show, we have the channeling from Spirit, which sees me becoming a vessel for Spirit to bring their communications through. And then later on in the show, we will have this week's energy forecast reading for you, which will hopefully help you navigate your way through the course of this week. So without further ado, we'll crack on, like I said earlier. So this week's show is about visions. So first of all, visions, why do we have them? What do they mean? Well, they can be interpreted in many ways, and my personal understanding of visions, they're there to help guide us. They're also there to give us some inspiration as well, to help others as well as ourselves. And also we can connect on various timelines with this technique. But to enable us to do this, first of all, we must understand that we are all a transmitter and receiver of frequency. Okay, once we understand that, we'll understand that actually to enable us to get these visions, we have to be clear in our mind, we have to be clear in our soul as well, and make sure that we're looking after our physical body. I mean, we can get them otherwise, but they will be diluted. They won't be as strong. The level of accuracy won't be as strong as it could possibly be. So looking after yourself on all of these levels in your life will actually help you get clearer visions and more sort of in tune and accurate evidential insight into experiencing them as well. Now, we see the visions through our third eye, which is the pineal gland, and this is located in the center of your forehead. And some of you may be thinking, pineal gland, what's he on about? Well, basically, we use this, all of us use this on a daily basis. We all have thoughts in our minds, don't we? And the quickest way that we think in our mind is through images, it's through pictures. And that is coming through the pineal gland. When we have that feeling of going into a daydream and we see all the images there, it's like a moving film, isn't it? Running through the front part of our brain there. And this is obviously coming from, like I say, the third eye, the pineal gland. And yes, it's a great tool to use because we can use our imagination, we can connect with inspiration in this regard as well. So whatever it is we're working on or doing in our lives, sometimes we reach a stumbling block and then, hey presto, right out of the blue, we get some inspiration that's relevant to what we're working on or what we're doing. And it is obviously entirely up to us whether we decide to explore that inspiration that we've just gotten there in the form of visual images. So it's a great gift to be aware of, and when you are focusing your attention of this is what's actually happening in behind the scenes, in the background, if you like, then you're going to experience more visions and more communications coming through this method, like I say, through the third eye, the pineal gland there. Now, visions that you do get can be very helpful, very insightful. And like I say, the way that spirit work, generally speaking, or energy, the fastest way it can work through you, rather than giving you a sentence, it will show you an image. And that image will sort of encapture all of that sentiment that is needed to be expressed to you at that moment in time. Now, because a lot of us have fallen out of the habit of this language of images. Now, I say language because I believe, and most spiritual mediums and psychics will probably agree with me when I say this, that when you understand that these pictures, these images are a language, you can interpret them, you can dive deep into the symbology within that image that you've been shown there. So it is entirely up to you to do the homework. And what I would certainly advise you all to do is make sure that you're taking notes. So when you do get some inspiration in the third eye, an image, what I would advise is to describe that image with as much detail as you can. Write it down, or if you're on the go, get your mobile phone or your mobile device there and go on to your notes section. You can write it in there, or you can also record it as an audio file, can't you, as well, and just describe it as best as you can. And then when you have got the time to go back and explore, then please do and interpret it. Keep diving deep, keep asking questions. Well, why am I seeing a dog? What does a dog represent? A dog represents a man's best friend. A dog has 4 legs. We've got the number 4 there. What colour is the dog? The dog is a blonde colour. Okay, well, what does yellow or blonde represent? Yellow could represent the solar plexus there. That could indicate intuition, following your intuition there. And you see, going on this line of inquiry, just keep exploring, digging and digging and digging without any sort of concern how crazy you'll sound, because to most people it will sound absolutely bonkers. And then record or write down what you're exploring from that image that was presented to you. And then once you review those descriptions that you've just given there will be a message in that, and you've just extracted all of that, decoded it, if you like, from the image and the symbolisms embedded in that image that you would have received in your third eye. So it is entirely up to you. It's your responsibility to choose to explore or not to explore. But in my experience, it pays you to, have some a line of inquiry there with that information that was given to you. Because 9 times out of 10, it is only given to you on a one deal only. So if you don't remember it, then that's your fault for not writing it down or exploring it further. So there will be help, guidance given to you. Also, with doing this, sometimes you get images, or like I've described, little film clips playing in the third eye, like a daydream, like I've been describing. And these film clips, excuse me, will actually unfold future timelines within your life. And it's up to you to pay attention, look at the details in there. Do you get a time in particular? Are you shown any people in that image? Look at the surroundings. Look with as much detail as you can and try to recall that information after the experience. Again, there will be key factors, symbolisms, and key factors for you to unpick in order to get the best out of that information that has been presented to you by the world of spirit in the form of a vision there. Like I said earlier, it's the easiest way that they can communicate this information to you without actually speaking, if that makes sense. So you'll only get as well what information you can handle at that moment in time. Now, what I'm talking about there is you won't necessarily get anything that's going to cause you upset. You won't get anything that will sort of steer you off of your path in your life. Obviously, it's your choice to choose either way anyway. Nobody's going to change that for you, only yourself. But you'll only be given just enough information, pocket-sized information, in that vision that you can handle, that you can interpret, that you can express, because Spirit want to work with the ingredients that you have within your spirit, within your mind, within your capabilities, within your physical body. And so they'll use the easiest port of call, so to speak. Now, another thing about visions is that you have the potential after practicing, and I say practicing, I'm talking about the art of meditation and going into conscious meditations on I would say a daily basis, at least 5 times a week. This will help to strengthen your pineal gland. It will help to strengthen the process of you giving and receiving visions through the third eye there. So by doing this, it will help you to have a stronger interaction with other dimensions, with other realities. And with this being the case, you may experience as if you're going on some sort of a journey there, exploring in either space or lands that you've never actually seen before with your own physical eyes. And there will be symbolisms, there will be meanings within, again, that image that you're being shown. But the beauty of this, when you do go into these alternate dimensions and realities, is that I would describe it's almost like an interactive computer game. You feel as though you're looking through your own eyes and you're interacting with either the people or the animals or the places that you're actually visiting. And it can be very tangible when you go through this experience. You know, you can feel the touches, you can feel the temperature changes, you'll see expressions on people's faces, and you'll you'll have a knowing that this is somewhere where you've never been before. And you'll feel like a visitor there because people are either ignoring you or they're just sort of looking at you a little bit funny. I say people, most likely it's going to be other beings, other dimensional beings that you've never noticed or seen before as well. With me saying this, I don't want to scare or intimidate anybody that's listening from having a go and trying it and following that, like I say, that continual practice of meditation, because it will help you get to this level. And it will be, believe it or not, quite helpful in your life because you'll get the inspiration, the images, like I've described, that can help you out of any problem or situation in your life, making your life a lot easier and it flow better. But it's up to you to put the time in, put the work in with intention, like I say, with a meditation there, and also interpret the symbolisms within the visuals that you're being given. And usually my experience when I've seen some visions, I normally get a feeling, an emotional feeling that's linked with it, or I'll get that level of excitement in my solar plexus, that butterfly feeling, and then that turns into that fire, that passion in the belly there. And with that fire, with that passion there, it gives you that sort of influence to go and explore that image that you've been shown, or to try out something new that you've been shown in order to make your life flow easier. And so that's what I've experienced with this. So whether you do or not is a different story. I would say that, like I keep going on about, meditation will lead you to that experience where once you see the vision, you start getting the feelings, and you start getting that energy coming in that propels you forward. Obviously, it is your choice to decide to move in that direction or decipher that image that you've been shown there in order for you to flow and move forward a lot easier. But certainly you'll experience it with putting the time and effort into this process there as well. Now, what you can do as well with this process is you can fine-tune the visions to create and manifest your desired reality. Now, when I'm talking about this, it goes into the territory of manifestation, doesn't it? And so I've mentioned going into a daydream state. Now, this is something that we all do throughout all of the course of our life. So we may be desiring a new product, we may be desiring to move house, or maybe having a partner or something of that nature. And we go into this little fantasy world, or at least it is labeled that, a daydream, a fantasy. I can't even speak, but you understand where I'm coming from. And so it's just giving yourself that permission to drift off into this little world in your mind where you can visualize these things, these items, the experiences that you want to go through within your life. And what you'll do is you'll visualize it as though you're actually experiencing it in the now moments. And so you'll see the visuals. And then, like I say, with continued practice, you'll start and get an emotion, a feeling linked to that visual that you're creating as you go there, visualizing and mapping your future plans out right before your own eyes there. And with that level of practice, connecting that visual element with the feeling, with the emotion, like I said earlier, that will connect with that passion, that fire, that drive to push you forward in the direction of that visual image that you've created in your mind. Now, when you put and you consciously choose to move in that direction with continued action, following that vision there, this is where we align with vibrations, with frequencies, and the universe can match up that visualization, those emotions, that passion that we feel, and bring whatever it is into our current reality a lot quicker. So by practicing with the visions, it's going to not only benefit you in your own personal life, but it's going to benefit others because you will be able to help others. You may be at a point where you're getting visions on a regular basis. Some people would call this a clairvoyant, where you're getting these images and you're getting this story and you see a person that you know in that story and you sense that the visions are for them. So you have that potential of helping them out within their life. And of course, it is down to you to record this information, to write it down, to speak it into a dictaphone or whatever method you want to use, in order for you to pass that information on as accurately as you can to that individual you felt and you saw within that vision there. So it's a two-way process. Like I said earlier, we are a transmitter and a receiver. So with that being the case, we're transmitting our own visions of our own reality, and we're manifesting that into our current reality. And we're receiving inspiration, help, guidance, and maybe healing for others in that form. So it works both ways, and there's a great level of responsibility, as you could probably imagine, with this special gift that we all have. I will stress that again, that we all have the full potential of using in every moment of our life. Once we remove the shackles of the old belief systems and start and invest a little bit of time and energy and just allow ourselves to go into this flow state, this daydream, if you like. We've been discouraged throughout our lives. You know, how many of us have been told, oh, you're in a dream world, you are. Stop daydreaming. Come on, snap out of it. When in actual fact, you know, they're stopping you from actually creating and manifesting your reality in the way that you feel and you see fit for your life. So it's a form of control if you see it that way. So now's the time to take your power back and use this very valuable tool of visualizing that we've all got. And like I say, it all stems from frequency. It all stems from our third eye, which is the pineal gland located in the center of our forehead there. And it's just embracing the truth of what that is. And we'll experience life from a whole new perception once we start doing that. So as ever, I'd like to give a few examples where I've gone through my life and I've experienced things, visions, if you like, coming into me and being very helpful, very inspirational as well. Now, one of these, I'm going back many, many years ago, when my eldest daughter, before she was even born, before she was even an idea in mine and my ex-wife's mind there. And with this being the case, it was very interesting because I remember having this vision of seeing my daughter, and she was, I would say she looked like she was a toddler, about 2 or 2.5 years old, at that point where they can just start to speak there. And anyway, 2, 3, that sort of age. And anyway, I saw her in one of the old houses I used to live. I was standing at the top of the stairs in this vision. And then I saw this little toddler, this blonde girl, standing at the bottom of the stairs. And what could only be described is she had very similar features, facial features, to myself. And she had blonde hair, like I say. And I remember saying to her, she says, "Daddy," I heard her say, "Daddy," which was quite a shock because at that time I had no desires of becoming a father in any way. And she said, "Daddy, am I all right to come up yet?" And I was a bit taken back by this, as you would be in a vision there. And I clearly remember myself, or my soul, or whatever you want to perceive out of this, saying, "Not yet, darling, we're not ready for you yet. Can you wait a bit longer?" And she said, "Okay, Daddy, I'll wait a little bit longer. See you soon." And that was it. And it was very quick, very visual. I got all of the colours in there, very detailed. I got the audio in there. I got the emotional feeling in there. It was a full-on experience. Now, why I bring this up is because a little bit later, probably I would say about a year and a half after that event, after having that vision, it became clear that I was becoming a father. And so anyway, I did become a father. And it was a girl, like I saw in the vision there. She did have blonde hair. Obviously, she came out with a little bit darker blonde, but as she got to the age of 2, 3, it was like a white blonde, like I'd seen in the vision there. And she did actually look like me facially. Her features did, just like I'd seen in that vision there. And so that was very, very interesting encounter to go through, for that to come into fruition. So I was getting this vision of future. Obviously, that event didn't happen, her standing on the stairs, because it was at an old house that I used to live at before she arrived. But the fact that that experience occurred in that environment was very interesting. Almost like a different dimension this was occurring on. So I found that fascinating, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate to some of that information that I'm sharing with you with this example. Now, another example of having visions, and this, again, going back some years, was before I had my recording studio built. And not this one that I'm in. I had a purpose-built building and everything, all designed and everything. But before even that encounter, there used to be an old tin garage on that location. And so before we bought the house, I was seeing this vision of a recording studio being built there. And it had all the gadgets, all the gizmos, all the soundproofing. It had a live room, it had a control room. And I saw all the elements, all the details, the lighting and everything like that, as if I was there. As if I was walking around and seeing that. And a little bit later on, we settled into the house. Financially, everything unfolded a little bit better for us. So it enabled us to bring this vision into reality. And so the plans were designed, the builders were called, and it was all built. And then it was up to me and my late father, and we did all the soundproofing, sound editing, and all the kitting out the inside of the studio there with the wiring and everything. So we did all of that. And actually, looking back, it wasn't too dissimilar to what I've seen in the vision. And I think that a lot of the way through of the creating process of building this recording studio, I was sort of relaying that vision that I'd experienced in my mind and bringing it into that moment in order to sort of bring it into form, if you know what I mean. So I was matching what I was seeing in my head as I was creating the internal space within the studio there. And like I say, it didn't turn out too dissimilar to what I was visualizing on the original vision that I saw, again, before we'd bought the house. And so I found that fascinating as well, that everything was already as if it had already happened. And I was linking into that and working backwards. So from the end point, working backwards. That's how it felt anyway. But yeah, it was a lovely studio. Loved working from there. And that's another example I can share with you. Now, there's some other examples, but these are pending, shall I say, because they're future events that I've been shown. I was shown these last year, and they haven't quite yet come into fruition. They haven't happened yet. However, when I do get glimpses of these visions, when I'm in a meditative state, again, they feel very tangible. I can touch it, feel it, taste it, visualize it, of the experiences that I'm having. It's very, very real. And it's almost like looking at a future version of myself as well. Not only visually speaking, but also the feeling I got with the connection with myself in those images. They felt like a more comfortable, confident personality and more forthgoing than what I currently am at the moment. Now, many people would say, well, you like that now, but not to the degree that I witnessed in these visions. It was like another level. But in a positive, loving way. There was no arrogance. There was nothing like that in there. It was all to do with healing. It was all to do with helping people. I won't explain it in great detail and depth like I have the other visions, simply because it hasn't unfolded yet. So I don't want to sort of dilute that energy, that vision there before it's had time to come into fruition. But the reason why I brought all these examples up is just so that you can have a think in your own mind about what you've encountered, what you've experienced, what visions, what sort of daydreams, if I dare call it that. It's a label I don't like, but everybody knows where I'm coming from when I mention the term daydreaming. So what have you gone through? What have you experienced? Has it come into fruition, what you've been visualizing? Have you manifested it? Have you created it? Have you been given the insight before it's even happened? So again, looking or peering on other timelines within your life there, you may have been given that privilege in order to help you to manifest, like I said with the studio example, so that you're working backwards. So you've seen the end result and now you're working backwards and working towards it again in your current reality. So it's very interesting, and it's a very important tool to have, especially in the times that we're all living through at the moment. Never has it been more important that we need to trust our spiritual gifts and abilities, the wisdom of our heart, in order to enable us to connect to the truth of a situation. Because despite of what we're being shown externally, I'm talking about now, there is an element of distrust still, isn't there, with everybody globally. And so in order for us to connect with the truth of any one situation, it's up to us to connect with our feelings from our heart chakra and feel that light vibration there, and also allow ourselves to go through this journeying process with our visions. And that will back up, that will amplify and give us some inspiration to help us navigate our way through the truth vibrations moving forward. Well, now we're going to move into the next section of the show, which is the channeled section. And this sees me becoming a vessel for spirit to blend their energies with mine in order to bring forward some spirit communicators through. So you will notice that my voice is manipulated and changed whilst the communicators are coming through. So just sit back, relax, and embrace the wisdom from the world of spirit. Here's your channeling for this week.
Hello there, we wish to communicate with you today. Thank you for taking this time to listen and observe what we have to say to you. Well, we want to tell you it's all about divine timing and patience. There's a lot of you that like to push ahead and organize things ahead of time. And that's fine. It's good to have an agenda. It's good to have a plan. But most of you are missing golden opportunities by forcing things to occur. So there's a very fine line between having a plan and also aligning with energy. So it's knowing when to strike while the iron's hot and when to rest in order to calibrate with the energies that are around. With this being the case, we'd like to use the analogy of a flower. So when you plant a seed, when you set an intention or make a plan, you plant it firmly. You have that at the back of your mind. And then you allow that flower to blossom. You allow it to grow one stage at a time, each step of the way. It is expanding in its reality, in its consciousness. And it's a journey, an energetic and a physical journey it goes on, stretching to its maximum potential in that moment, until eventually it reaches a climax where it begins to open up its petals and flower and show itself to the world in all its glory, in all its beauty and splendor, and thus forth attracts all it needs towards it, such as the insect kingdom, in order to help make the flower flourish and spread its seed and to germinate, and also all that enriched sunlight that is given to the flower, and it brings so much joy to all those that observe the beauty of the flower, and it gives a lot of peace and tranquility. So our point being, using this analogy, by relaxing into life, having an agenda to begin with, but relaxing into it and having that level of balance and ease, and just allow yourself to blossom. And when the time is right, you will know, you will feel it, and you will simply align and you will allow. You won't want to force or push things, because you will know that you will be forcing things to occur ahead of their natural time. In other words, you won't be reaching your full potential as it is desired and as it is planned by the great universe for you to do. We hope we're not talking too much in riddles, but we do want you to know that this is a very important part of your lives. And if you observe and notice, there's a lot of, shall we say, people in society that have followed a narrative where they have to force things and keep pushing forward. Now that's good in so many respects. But you see, they're out of balance because they're not aligning and they're not allowing. They're forcing. And when something is forced and when it is rushed, you put it under a great deal of strain and stress, and causes disharmony, has the potential to bring in disharmony, disease and low bass frequencies entwined into the very thing that you're wanting to create. So it's not a pure frequency, you must understand. Yes, that alignment will be there, but not fully there. It will be entwined with this lower fear-based energy. And what we mean by that is because you forced it, there is an element of fear that these things aren't going to occur. And because of that, and because your desire is strong to want them to occur, there's a lack of faith somewhere along the line, a lack of trust. And that lack of faith and trust manifests in the form of negative energy in your creation. So we want to encourage you to put a stop to that. And we want to encourage you, before you go on any encounters, any endeavors within your life, whatever it is that you're wanting to bring forward into your now and future moments, I want you to understand that there is a great responsibility, whereas you have to have the intention, of course you do. And that intention is usually inspired by your higher self. And then when you put your attention on that desire, then it's having that level of understanding and that level of balance, not forcing it out of fear, trusting more and observing every step of the process. And as you do so, you will be given nuggets of information, symbolisms, signs to let you know that you are on the right track. And the moment you start getting anxious about whatever it is you're wanting to create, then that is an invitation to check in with that very desire once more and observe to find out and see if you are acting out of fear of it never, the possibility of it never going to happen. And you see, that fear is actually stopping that manifestation. That fear is also polluting the manifestation. So it's not pure energy. So be mindful of it. Have that rest. If you find yourself getting anxious and forcing a little bit too much, then this is again an invitation to relax, sit back and observe. Now, to many in your society, this is perceived as being lazy, idle, good for nothing. You see, society, the way it's been constructed, is that it wants you to have that element of lower frequency in your manifestations in order to just keep it down, so it's not being at its full strength, its full beauty, and its full potential. It has an element of lower energy in it, so it's not pure. That's the way that society has been orchestrated. Yes, the way that society sees it, yes, you can manifest all these things. Good luck to you, so society says. And, of course, they encourage you to force things. And you put, like we've already mentioned, you put things under a tremendous amount of strain, stress, and it is infused with lower base frequencies. So we want to eradicate that out of your plans, your desires, and we want them to be pure, true, strong. They'll be more resilient. Whatever it is you're wanting to focus your attention on, it will be more resilient, it will be pure. That pure energy can then be healing energy, which in turn will help heal the communities, society, will raise the frequency, and it will push a lot of this lower-based disharmony away from all of life's creations. And that's what we're attaining to do. By bringing this to your attention in this communication today, I know we talk in roundabout fashion, in riddles, some would say, but we have to be careful in the way in which we deliver this information. So those of you that are paying attention to this communication will be able to unpick what we're genuinely, truly trying to communicate to you without it causing any offense or miscommunications. So thank you for persevering and seeing beyond, shall we say, the meanderings of a very old soul communicator in these times. So thank you. We would now like to bring in another communicator to bring in some additional content for you to help you on your way forward within this year. Thank you for your patience. I bid you farewell.
One must be very patient, as the last communicator said. It is a great characteristic trait that we would certainly encourage. Now, patience comes in many forms. Knowing when to move and knowing when to rest. And like the last communicator said, there is that fine line that is holding the two elements in place and in balance. So in order to understand where you're at in your life, we encourage you, as many other communicators have done in the past, to follow that truth which is resonating from your heart. That lighter feeling, that lighter vibration that makes you unique in your soul's journey on this earth plane. There will be a lot of souls, people on your earth plane communities that will, however, find what you're doing and how you're behaving and how you're acting in your present moment within your life. They will find it a little bit unusual, peculiar, a little bit strange. We don't wish you to send any disharmony, any lower energies to these individuals. Instead, you will observe that this energy is being portrayed through them towards you. It is your job to transmute this energy into a higher, lighter vibration. Rather than saying return to sender, you will actually be saying, I transmute this energy into love, light, peace, truth, and harmony. And can I ask that it is returned to all of those individuals that are confused and are sending these lower-based harmonies towards my vibration. And in doing this and setting these intentions, you're actually clearing their disharmony, should they choose to accept your gift of higher base frequency, because you understand that just as those of you that work in the light and are sensitive, you always have that choice of accepting negativity or rejecting it. But we say to you, there is a third option in the mix that maybe has not been given to you before, or at least put in this fashion. And that third option, as we say, is transmutation, transmuting, turning their gift of negativity around, transmuting it into love. And the way that you do this is through your intention and thinking those high vibrational thoughts, even though you're aware of the lower base frequencies, trying to infiltrate them. Instead, you will remain resilient, have that stubbornness in your attitude. And we would like to use the analogy in this case. You'll remember the film of Lord of the Rings and a character called Gandalf. And one of his catchphrases was, "None shall pass." So that may help you when it comes to transmuting this energy. So you're aware of the lower base energies, but you're saying none shall pass this point. Instead, I'm reclaiming you and turning you into love and light and high vibrational frequency. And that vibration of love will be far stronger than those lower frequencies. And so you allow that energy to go back to the sender, the original origin of that lower-based harmony. But as you understand now, it is sent back to them in the form of love and high vibration. Now, just like you had the choice to accept or reject, they too have the choice whether to accept this high vibrational frequency that is coming back to them, or simply reject it. If they reject it, it shall return to you as tenfold love, light, peace, truth, and harmony. If they choose to accept it, then it will filter through them tenfold as love, light, peace, truth, and harmony. In either scenario, if the transmuter yourself receives back that high vibrational frequency. It is the grand plan that you are given it in order to restore this harmony and sense of balance with a mass amount of your population. So don't think that this energy will remain dormant and stagnant. It will not. Energy continues to be moving, and it goes where it needs to go in order to transform, align, and to, shall we say, add to the beauty of creation and unfoldment. And that comes in many forms, as you already know. You all have separate desires, wishes, fulfillments. And so this energy is always being used in order to attract and magnetically align you with that in which is your intention. So it gives me great honor and great pleasure to take this opportunity to come through today and share some of these insights with you, that you are now going through a different phase on your earthbound life. And like we say, there are 3 options, and just to amplify and make you more aware of those 3 options once more. Again, if somebody is giving you the gift of lower base frequency, negative energy, instead of saying return to sender, what you say is none shall pass, and I transmute you into love, light, peace, truth, and harmony. And go to where you see fit, or words of that nature. And you see, by doing this, those high vibrational frequencies will go to where they are needed. So if they are needed back with the sender, that's where they shall go. It's a case of trusting the process. You will know that your work is complete when you feel that harmony, that peace, that tranquility in your heart as you go throughout this little procedure we are describing to you. If you are not feeling that peace, that tranquility in your heart, then it's a case of going back into the exercise and doing it once more until you feel that higher tone in your heart. Only then will you know that the job has been done. And it has been done in a successful manner, where everybody, everything, every atom, every molecule of energy is in alignment to the highest vibration. So thank you all so much for listening. We hope this information finds you well and helps you to ascend on your life's journey. We leave you now with love, light, peace, truth, and harmony. Farewell.
Again, what a fantastic communication there from the world of spirit. And we can all take some lessons from that, can't we? Particularly with divine timing and not forcing things to occur in our lives. Simply having those inspired intentions from our higher self to set them, and then just trusting and having that level of trust. I found it fascinating that this communicator, well, both of them, was talking about having the vibration of fear entwined into our creations because of this need to force things to occur. So some food for thought there. Very interesting indeed. So next we're going to go into your weekly energy forecast reading for this week. So sit back, relax, have a pen and paper ready if you need to in order to take notes, and listen to this week's energy forecast reading. Hello, my name is Glenn Boddice and I'm a spiritual medium, and you join me here for this week's energy forecast reading for the week commencing Monday the 6th of February 2023. Now, those of you that have watched me do this before will know that I connect with my spirit guides and helpers, and also connect with the wisdom of the Angel Tarot card. So I'm going to shuffle the pack and allow a card to come out at random for this week's energy forecast reading. And as ever on cue, one has just done that. So this is your card for this week's energy forecast reading. I'm now going to link into the energy of that and bring forward the information for you. First of all, this week is full of changes for you. First of all, I feel as though there will be no longer any more grey areas in your life. Now, what I'm referring to with this is things will either be a yes or a no. There's no room for maybe anymore. You'll be more there'll be more clarification with your answers there in response to invitations, in response to information needed from you. It will either be yes or no, no maybe. So watch out for that. I also feel that with this being the case, it's going to bring up some blockages that you've been experiencing within the physical body. As I feel, without sounding too gross, you will be coughing up, shall I say, mucus, and letting go of some mucus physically within your body as well. This is part of the old energy being released and let go of. As a result of that happening, you'll feel more energetic, you'll have a spring in your step, and also you'll actually feel quite lighter in your physical, but also your energetic body as a result of doing that. Now, can you watch out also in your romantic relationships? Now, this doesn't matter whether you're single, whether you're married, whether you're in a relationship, whatever your situation is, there's going to be a shift in that area of your life this week. I do feel as though you're going to feel that sparkle of hope, that sparkle of love in your heart there, and that will be radiating out from you. So again, no matter what your situation is, you will notice a difference in that area of your life. For example, if you are single, you will notice people being more attracted to you, trying to hold conversations with you. For example, if you're in a current relationship, you'll notice that closeness, that spark getting brighter between the two of you. And if you are or have been recently separated, you will notice that glimmer of hope coming into your mind there and giving you those answers that you seek in order to find your peace and bliss. Whatever your circumstances are with your personal relationships, I feel as though this week there's going to be a significant change with that. I also sense that this week you will be setting boundaries with your energies. Remember me saying there'll be no grey areas, it'll be either yes or no. And I feel as though with you setting boundaries, this will be the same. You will be letting people know what you're willing and what you're not willing to accept, how much time you're willing to invest in a project or in people or in a situation, or how much time you're going to invest in yourself. And with me mentioning that, I feel as though that you are becoming more aware that without you looking after yourself, your energy, your mind, your physical body, then your life starts to, without you doing that, your life starts to go really, really slow and obstacles get in the way. So you're now becoming more aware that without you taking care of yourself, your physical body, your spiritual body, your mind, then all of these things will continue to tread water, so to speak. So this sees you changing your lifestyle, or at least considering remodeling how you interact and how you are in your life this week. So I'm going to turn over the card and see what the card has to offer for you. At the top there, we've got 2 of Ariel. So I'd like to give you the angel number 2 to go and research, as there's additional content and information should you choose to do that. At the bottom of the card, well, actually, let's go with Ariel. That reminds me of an old washing machine brand, Ariel Automatic it was called at the time. I don't like to advertise things, but I'm being shown that. And with that being the case, I feel as though this week's going to bring in some cleansing, some healing, making you feel brand new, making you feel refreshed, more prominent this week than ever. At the bottom of this card, it reads, it's important to have balance, working multiple jobs or projects at once, making work fun. Very interesting there. Again, this will go in line with what we're saying. You're going to be more sort of like either yes or no, and also setting boundaries in your life and being aware of your own time and what you're willing to embrace and put your time into by doing that. So looking at the artwork of the card, we've got pink around the edging of the card. Now, to me, that represents your sensitivity. And I'm hearing from my guides, don't be triggered this week. And what they mean by this is don't react to other people's observations of you. So if somebody makes a comment or a criticism of you, just let that energy go by you. Don't embrace it. Don't react with it. You are becoming increasingly sensitive, and so it'd be very easy for you to snap and react with this energy. But in turn, you'll actually be pulling your energy down by adding to that lower vibrational frequency that these people are offering you. So you don't always have to accept these comments that are coming your way. So be aware of your sensitivity this week. Put up those boundaries, put that energetic protection around yourself, and respect yourself in this process as well. Looking into the artwork of this card, we've got a masculine energy, and as you can see, he's upside down, balancing on one hand, and he has an hourglass. It looks like an hourglass, but also we have the yin and yang symbol as well in that. So to me, the masculine energy is all about dominance. It's all about leadership, control, organization. And with it being upside down, it's telling you to turn that factor, those elements within your life that need to control, upside down and see it from a different angle. Release that need to know and just embrace the wisdom of the universe. Also, I feel as though you need to get your life in balance, as the image suggests there, and as also the yin and the yang symbol would indicate there. That would indicate balance with your time, with your energy, what you're putting out and what you're accepting there. Can I also give you the number 69? Obviously, when we look at the yin and yang symbol, that's what it looks like. And I feel as though that will offer you some additional wisdom should you choose to do that. There's also a ledge there as well that this gentleman is balancing on. That represents that you're taking life to the edge, and maybe you need to reconfigure, rethink things, and make sure that you've got everything in check before you push yourself over the edge by doing far too much and burning yourself out. So be careful of that. There's also a feminine angelic being behind this gentleman. And as you can see, she is observing. This would indicate the sensitive side of yourself, that you need to be aware of that, but also be aware of the angelic realm is there to support you. They're just observing you at the moment. You've got to make those life choices. They're not going to make them for you. They will give you some inspiration, some guidance, but the choice is always yours. In the meantime, the world of spirit, the angelic realm, are waiting in the wings, resting, watching and observing you, ready to pick you up when you are feeling a little bit low in terms of energy, in terms of enthusiasm, and they're there by your side. So be aware of that vibration there. There's also columns behind them as well. There's two, so I want to give you, as we've seen, the angel number 2 again as well. There's also rays of light shining on this masculine energy. So that's saying don't despair. You're going to get some inspiration. You're going to feel that energy. You're going to feel your life shifting out of that treadmill effect, that treading water effect. So rather than ignoring it, embrace it and just curiously follow the lead, if that makes sense. But you have to make that inevitable decision to do so. There's lots of mountains in the scenery below, lots of clouds. The mountains would indicate what you've gone through within your life, and you've overcome a lot of struggles. And now's the time for you to see the bigger picture, because there's a whole new vista opening up for your life, and your dreams can come true. So that's what I picked up for your energy forecast for this week. If you've liked or enjoyed what you've seen here and you would like a one-to-one private reading with myself or record a 12-month forecast with myself, you can contact me at www.glennboddicespiritualmedium.com to arrange your booking. In the meantime, you can check me out every Monday at 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time on www.pulsetalkradio.com with my show From Beyond with Glenn Boddice. Take care, everybody. God bless. Bye.
Well, we're set for an interesting week by the sounds of things, a lot to learn for all of us. So I hope you've enjoyed this week's show. Thank you once again for tuning in. If you have any show suggestions, any ideas, or if you have any stories that you would like to share with the audience, you can contact me at www.glennboddicespiritualmedium.com or at glennboddice@live.co.uk. In the meantime, have a blessed week, and I'll see you at the same place, same time, next Monday at 4 p.m. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to From Beyond.
For more information about what products and services Glenn provides, go to Glenn Boddice Spiritual Medium